So it was brought to my attention that the companion, the Cyclops War Drummer, can actually perform a lot better than the tests that I looked at. And this is as a result of the recent updates to the companion about 2 weeks back by now. He had his damage significantly improved from a miserable 5,000 DPS up to 26,000 DPS. Now keep in mind, all of these tests are done against a dummy with just me attacking the dummy, with just me taking the damage from the dummy. And that is significant because the Cyclops War Drummer has a power called Repercussion. Whenever your allies take damage, he'll deal a medium amount of psychic damage back to that attacker. Even a small chance to knock the attacker down if they're crowd controllable. What this means is that my original test right here, where the Cyclops War Drummer does about half of its damage with repercussions. And this is when you only have one ally. When you have multiple allies taking more damage, then you could have your companion actually dealing a lot more damage. And that is what we are seeing when you run this in a trial scenario where you have lots of people all taking lots of damage. Specifically in Gzemnid's Reliquary, everybody takes damage from your necrotic blasts, from your adds. Your tanks are continually taking damage from the bosses, and when you go into later phases, everybody takes even more damage when you go into, with the Beholder clones and so on. And with everybody taking so much damage, you get a lot more procs on that repercussions from the Cyclops War Drummer. So we done some tests, we got together, and many thanks to Steamroller and his group, we got this tested out on the preview server. And we can have a look at the logs then, and we can compare it to, let's say, the green scale bowman, which is what everybody's using right now because he's a ranged companion. Lots of single target damage, competes with these top ones here, and with having the ability, again, being ranged, he can stand away from certain mechanics, getting less hit, and if his target's moving around a bit, he's not as affected by his damage reducing because he doesn't have to keep running after the target. But this Cyclops War Drummer, currently ranked way down here in 60th spot, can do a lot more than that. He can actually become the highest dealing companion right now, and we can see that via this log. We have 4 damage dealers all using the Cyclops, with one of them running this green scale bowman. You can see the green scale bowman only at just about 68,500 DPS, with the top Cyclops nearly 90,000 DPS. Now there is a bit of RNG of how much the Cyclops actually deals, but just having a look at this, you can already see the Cyclops outperforming the green scale bowman by a significant margin, like 20%. If not more, in certain areas of the fight. For example, right here, you have the Cyclops War Drummer nearly dealing 125,000 encounter DPS. And this is the companion from a player who dealt like 530,000 DPS. So if you do the math on that, the companion was dealing nearly 24% of the player's damage. That's significantly more than what we see with the current top companions, only at maximum 20% of the player's damage. You'll see that in a log right here where, the green scale bowman will do like 80,000 DPS, whereas the player will deal like 400 to 500,000 DPS, which is like between 15 to 20% maximum. So definitely, the Cyclops can perform very well, especially in Gzemnid. I would say it's then the top companion right now for that trial. Just because, again, everybody's taking a lot of damage hits that can trigger the repercussion from their companion. If you're a newer player and aren't intending to run this new trial, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, he could be useful and deal the most damage compared to other companions in other trials as well, when you have that many other allies. But again, chasing for a striker companion which deals the top damage, it's always a risk. This guy could get adjusted and nerfed so that he isn't dealing that much damage, like his hit with repercussions get up to over 700k sometimes. but he seems to be able to hit quite often with this, which then adds up, as you can see, like 80% of his repercussion is his damage. And that versus what we saw with my original test of a split being 50-50, near enough exact, convert that to 80-20. So imagine that 13,000 DPS is 20%, then you'd be getting 52,000 DPS from Repercussion. In total, this companion would be ranked at like 65,000 DPS. So he would definitely be above everything that currently exists here. We can have a look at some of the other companions here from the other guys. Check that split. Again, it's like 22 to 78, 22 to 78 as well there. So yeah, if I were to rank him on the chart in a trial, he would be at that 65,000 encounter DPS mark, beating everything that's currently existing. But again, we never know if this is intended to work like that, if it was a mistake that his damage can scale so much like that. I don't see it as such a big deal. It's nothing game breaking. The companion is not going to be carrying you through any content. Yes, it could well be dealing 25% of your damage as a player, but other companions do come close enough. And if you look at other content, let's say 5-man content, dungeons and so on, this companion is going to perform a lot less. Now, the advantage of this companion as well is he's going to be a support companion. He's reducing everybody's damage that they take by 3%. I do not believe this stacks amongst other Cyclops War Drummers, because you do not see any time at all that people will have more than one of those stacks. Like checking my buffs right now, I don't even have a single one, but they go and beat their drum. I'm not within their radius of receiving their percussion, their protection. It has about a 90% uptime at this point. Again, not something I would rely on. I wouldn't take the Cyclops over the Brunner Battlehammer any day, because Brunner is 100% uptime. It doesn't require anything like an activation. But seriously guys, this companion is also exclusive to an event, so it's going to probably be pretty expensive and easy for people to manipulate its price on the auction house. It came originally from the Protector's Jubilee event, which will be returning again in just a few months. We don't know if this companion will be available with that. Very likely there'll be a new companion and there'll be a new mount. We shall see. They have said that the Jubilee will be something special this year, as it's the 10th anniversary, and very well you might be able to get your hands on this companion. But again, it's a very risky investment to go for a striker companion that may very well be unintentionally dealing more damage than it should. It can very well get nerfed, get adjusted, so that it doesn't contribute to so much damage. I don't think it's anything game breaking. It's a companion that can do very well in a particular fight, in particular content. But yeah, shout out again to these guys for helping me test this. Special thank you to these channel members for their continued support, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.